So I'm going to do something a little bit different on this one. I'm actually testing a rural internet option. It could be for RVs. Me personally, I live just outside the grid of your typical carriers for your internet. There's no cables ran to the house for internet options. At this point, hopefully at some point they'll have some better internet out here. But right now I'm on satellite internet, and I currently pay $139 a month for said internet, and it's terrible, to be this cut and dry. I'm not going to put their name out there, but it's not a good internet service. I mean, better than nothing, but at the same time, it's really not that great. We can't watch multiple TVs at the same time. There's a lot of things that you can't do when restricted by your internet options. So about a year ago I tried a plan it was kind of the same concept, except for it was a hotspot. I mean, everything seemed like it was really. I read the reviews, and there was a lot of mixed reviews, and I was really hoping that the negative reviews were just honestly people complaining because they didn't pay their bills. It's really what it looked like to me. But so I tried that. It failed. The highest speeds that I got with it was 5 megabytes per second, and that was on a absolute prime day. So, I mean, the rest of the time, I mean, there was times where I got less than 1 megabyte per second. So I went ahead and sent that back, and I got it was a full money back guarantee. I sent it back, and they gave me a full refund, everything that I spent, so it wasn't that bad. So a couple of months ago, I started reading about this Visible plan, and I finally decided. I was like, man, I'm just gonna try it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I send it back, or not send it back, but I had to buy the phone in order to get it because it's on a Verizon network and I have AT&T, so none of my phones would work with it. So I just went ahead and bought a cheap phone from them. This is ZTE. I paid probably $100 for it. I've seen other people online that said that they spent $20 on a phone. There wasn't any $20 phones available for me, or else I would have purchased one. So I bought this one. It's an Android-based phone. Not too bad. I mean, I'm an iPhone guy, so I don't really know how to navigate through this phone really well. But I made the best of what I could with it, and I mean, really, it's used for a hotspot. That's the sole purpose of this phone, is to bring internet wherever I'm at. So when I first got it, unboxing it, powered it on, put the SIM card in it, and you have to log on a separate device that has internet and go to their website in order to create your account and all that good stuff, just to start it all up. And then it took about 5 minutes to get all that stuff done. Once I got it done, this thing had service. At first, I was running some speed tests on the phone itself, and it wasn't doing very well. I mean, to be honest with you, the phone itself was only getting about 15 megabytes per second, and then the hotspot at first was only getting 1 to 5 megabytes per second. And I'd read some reviews where people had said they cap the hotspot at 5 megabytes per second, and I was like, man, I really hope not, because it was like some people said that, and then some people said differently. So I was kind of just up in the air about what it was going to do. And when I first turned it on, that's what it was doing. It was going between 1 and 5 megabytes per second, and it was getting 2 to 5 on the upload speed though, which was, I mean, for me, I rarely get above 2 megabytes per second upload speed here at the house, so that was great. And then it seemed throughout the day that, I mean, as things progressed, I ran more and more and more tests, and actually the best results that I got the first day, which was the hotspot here connected to this iPad, or actually the iPad connected to this hotspot, however you want to say it. I ended up getting, what was the best, 27.6 megabytes per second, which honestly blows my home internet out the water. And I was very surprised with that. Now, I didn't get a consistent 27.6. I got that on one test. It was really good. Further on into the evening, as cell phone tower traffic increased, my speeds went down. I mean, obviously. It then went to 19.9, which is still, I mean, pretty good. I mean, you can still watch HD movies that way. Ended up by 9 or 10 p.m. It's averaging between 5 and 10 megabytes per second. So I mean, it's still really good comparatively speaking. When my home internet that same evening was getting 1.3 megabytes per second. So I was really blown away by this little device. I continued testing for a few days, got very similar results. You know, morning to mid-afternoon, the service was outstanding. Throughout the evening, it did slow down some, but it still works. It still does just fine. There's been zero throttling. I mean, zero. I have not had any throttling issues whatsoever. And at this point right now, let's see, I've ran it for 5.47 gigabytes of data in the past, I think, week and a half that I've had it, and it hasn't slowed down whatsoever. I mean, I actually decided here about a week ago I was really going to put it to the test. I connected my PlayStation and I connected it to the hotspot on this phone, logged on, everything seemed to work fine. I got into a chat with some of my buddies, a private chat, which with my AT&T hotspot, I can never do that. It for some reason the NAT type doesn't match up, and it'll act like you're going into chat, but it will never actually put you in the chat with your friends. So with this one, I mean, it wasn't immediate. It took a few seconds, but I logged into chat, worked just fine. And then I was like, I'm going to run this thing, and I really had low expectations for it. Running on online gaming here at my house, I created a word. It's called lagtastic. That's what happens when I play video games online. It's just very laggy. It's terrible. So whenever I logged on with this, I expected the worst, to be honest. I expected just to get booted from the game. You know, nothing. Have terrible experience that evening, and honestly, it worked flawlessly. I gamed for probably a couple to a few hours that night. I never lagged. I never got booted. Nothing really ever happened. I think the game messed up a couple of times, but that's common. And then the next day, I just decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it again. So I logged on. I had the same exact results. It went the whole night, no lag. I mean, everything just works. It's kind of surprising. I mean, I've gotten them results for a few other times as well. I mean, I'm blown away by their network, or however you want to say it. Honestly, it has me thinking about switching my regular phones over to Verizon, because, I mean, if this little phone is getting that good a service on Verizon, then that might be something I need to look into doing on all of my phones, because AT&T has pretty good service. I mean, I can get a pretty good hotspot going here, but like I said, for one, you can't log into any chat on gaming. You can't log into any chat, anything like that. Honestly, you can't link together in a game. You can get in the same game that your friends are in, but you cannot go in as a party. So, I mean, that's just, I don't really understand all that. I'm not a computer guy. It has something to do with the NAT type, which is past me. I have no idea about any of that stuff. I barely know how to play the game, and I'm not very good at that either. So, I mean, but I just wanted to kind of tell you about this phone, or this hotspot. Honestly, I don't know about the phone service. I haven't made a call on this phone. I don't plan to make a call on this phone. I bought this phone, and I'm paying for the service for the hotspot options. So, anyways, guys, if you like this video, if you have any questions about the phone that I can answer, shoot me or let me know in the comments below. So if you like this video and you want to see others like it, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. The basic layout of this channel is overlanding, camping, off-roading, things of that nature. But also, I live in a rural area. So, I mean, internet options, things like that, things that you can use on the campsite, generally you can use at my house, because I'm just outside of the grid. I mean, I'm really close to population, but far enough that a lot of things don't reach me. So, anyways, have a good day, guys.